This episode of Nicknames Movies is brought to you by...
My brains. They tend to overthink things, don't they?
I hate them. Zombies love them.
They do, yeah.
I mean, most zombies.
That and smoothies.
I don't get that reference.
It's all right. It's for me.
No. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nicknames Movies, episode number 18 for the week of August 31st. Each and every week, we bring you all the cinema love and keep you informed about what's going on in Hollywood. I'm your host, Nicknaming Movies, and alongside me is my co-host, Zach. How's it going, Zach?
I'm good, Nick. How are you?
I'm congested.
Yeah.
It's quite...
There's some stuff going down in the air today.
Yeah, we've been getting some rain,
Yeah.
and then we've been getting some heat, and it's like Miami up in here.
Yeah, like that Will Smith song.
I only know his acting career. And the Wild Wild West
Is that
one.
I don't know.
Wild West.
Well, yeah, obviously
That
the
one.
greatest song, and Men in Black.
Yeah. Here comes Men in Black. That one.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, right?
It was.
Thank you.
I thought you were him.
That wasn't him
I
who
was
does
like, well,
the bridge.
what are you
Bridge?
doing here?
Yeah. Ha ha! Hoo-hoo! There you go. It's like the third time we made fun of Will Smith. How been keeping busy?
Yeah, somewhat. Like, okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I actually got off work early yesterday.
I did too, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna like text you like, hey, we should hang out. And
no, you didn't.
we
Wow,
didn't.
fuck you.
What? I'm sorry. I had some stuff to watch because clearly, and we'll get into it. I procrastinated yet again.
Maybe both of us did.
Who
knows?
Well, we're pretty bad at this because this is Nicknames Movies, the podcast where we talk about what we've been watching and give you our thoughts. Sometimes we watch stuff, sometimes we don't. Want to be a part of the cast? You can head on over to patreon.com/nicknamesmovies, where you can donate as low as $1 and get the episodes a day early. If you don't want to donate, it's no big deal. Remember, every episode will be live every Sunday on YouTube or your podcast service of choice. You can also head on over to tpublic.com/user/nicknamesmovies to find our merch and help represent your favorite new podcast. But now, let's dive into the previews. Zach, what have you been watching?
I hate how much more prevalent near spit takes have become in my life.
Why?
Since I started doing this. It seems like every fucking podcast, I'm nearly spitting my drink out all over the floor.
It's
And
my
I don't know
one
if,
goal in life.
I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know if I'm timing it improperly or you're timing it on purpose.
Well, let's just say we're both to blame.
Yeah,
all right?
okay.
You take
We'll
the
do
most
50-50.
inappropriately timed sips.
I didn't know sips could be inappropriate.
Sips are
That is
very
an
inappropriate.
inappropriate sip.
I mean, like you could be slurping like a drink at a funeral when somebody's doing a eulogy, and you could be like,
That would be inappropriate.
"Did that come through?"
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out in post. So, what have you been watching?
Well, I kind of stuck to a theme this week,
Okay.
and I've mentioned before that when I watch anime, I tend to get sucked into a hole.
Gross.
Yeah, and it takes a while to get back out of it.
Well, I mean, most hole sucking.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
it's a time consuming effort.
depending on who you are.
Yeah, or who you're surrounded by. Oh wait, I'm sorry. We're off to a bad start. What anime did you watch that you got hole stuck?
Well, I'll talk about the anime later because it is somehow tangentially related to our top. I don't know if you even have anything for our topic this week.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched. We could already say it. Our topic was biographical films. We kind of mentioned them in a previous episode.
But that was mostly musical.
It was mostly musical. And here's the thing. I was like, okay, I need to watch a biographical drama. So the first thing that I was like, oh, wait, I know what I haven't seen. I haven't seen The Dirt, which is
Dirt?
the biopic of Motley Crue, which is a musical biopic.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it. It didn't even come in.
Did you start watching it before you realized
No, when the credits rolled, I was like, fuck. That's not. That's exactly what I was trying to avoid.
That's funny.
Still a great movie. But, I ended up watching that and another film that's not musically related.
Well, I'll save my anime because my anime is related to our biographical topic for the week.
Okay. All right.
But other than that, because, when I go in on something, I have to, do it in excess.
Yeah.
I got sucked into Japan. So I started...
Oh, I'm in Tokyo!
The Hollow Earth theory is real.
It wouldn't be Tokyo, though, right?
No, I don't know. I hate geography.
It's like 3D geography, too, so you're like... All right, is the Total Recall remake accurate? Would we be going to Australia or?
I don't think we need to talk about Total Recall remake.
See, here's the thing: the first 20 minutes of that movie are not bad.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, but the first 20 minutes are what I'm talking about. It's the visuals of the future.
Yeah.
I like the stuff that was obviously super dated for the original Total Recall, got revamped and updated to kind of a dark, gritty
But
version.
then you have to spend the other hour and 40 minutes.
I like Kate Beckinsale, too, so sue me.
Oh, you're like the biggest Underworld fan.
No, I'm not the biggest Underworld fan. I think it's entirely too blue.
You love Underworld.
Dabba-dee, dabba-die.
Nick loves Underworld. He loves
I don't.
lycanthropy. He's just super.
What'd you call me?
There's like a bunch of werewolf shit all around his apartment.
Hey, I told you not to mention that ever. I took it down.
Right next to his Blade Runner poster.
Hey. That's actually true. That's actually a thing. No, Underworld's, well, the first two were fine. They're all entirely too blue. It's the Matrix,
That's
but
the
blue.
theme.
I don't like it.
It's blue.
No, just do what Blade did and make it campy as hell.
Some guys always trying to ice skate up. No, all right, never mind.
Did you have a brain fart
It's
there?
butchered.
Yeah.
No, I just couldn't get the quote out.
Oh.
Some guys always trying to ice skate uphill.
Is that a Blade reference?
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
that.
that's not the exact line because I can't say the exact line, but it's close enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you shouldn't tread in that territory.
I skirt.
Maybe that's out of your wheelhouse. So
the Japan hole I fell into.
Yeah, let's go back to Japan and its holes.
I started watching this series, which I guess just airs normally on NHK.
Okay.
Which, for those who don't know, is the state. It's like BBC, but for Japan.
Yeah.
It's called Japanology.
Okay.
And the basic premise is that every episode is about one specific thing in particular to do with Japan, and they kind of investigate that subject for 30 minutes.
Oh, interesting.
But there'll be minute things like summer sports activities in schools, or there was one episode that was all about mochi.
So is it kind of like the cultural videos that you would watch in high school?
Yeah, or something you'd stumble across on the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or National Geographic.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing as that,
okay.
But there are hundreds of episodes, and you can find these on. Well, I don't think you can find all of them on YouTube, but a lot of them are. There's hundreds and hundreds of episodes. Like I said, it's just one thing per episode. So one episode will be just about family crests. There will be another episode about gotcha machines or arcades or pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And there's even one that it started auto-playing off of the arcade one that I watched about snow removal.
Huh.
This is how
it's a whole
detailed
30-minute
they
episode?
get. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
wow.
20, 28 episodes.
But, round it up.
And the host is British, but he's half British, half Japanese.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you're going to have somebody who's not from Japan talk about it,
I believe he was raised natively in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure, though. Don't quote me on that.
Japanology?
Japanology. Japan and then ology.
Ology, yeah. The study of...
The first series, I don't think they really make any distinction anymore because it's all the same people and they bleed into each other. But I believe it first started in 2008 or something like that, maybe earlier.
Okay.
And it was called Begin Japanology. And then the newer series from
It's like a study course.
yeah,
kinda.
yeah. And then the newer series, which I think started in like 2014 or something, is called Japanology Plus.
Oh, it's like a super version of it.
And I will say, if you go to the older episodes, and I think you kind of mentioned this last time with your dramas, your Asian dramas that you were watching, where the quality of film is a little weird for the mid-aughts.
Yeah. Because it seemed like way older.
Yeah. These, like, some of the older Japanology episodes seem like they're from the 90s.
Yeah.
So that might throw you for a loop, but it's so calming, and I don't know. I've always kind of missed those like Discovery Channel type shows where it's like, we're gonna count down like the craziest theme park attractions, whatever in the Midwest or some bullshit.
You got top 10 lists.
We're gonna do a deep dive into like this culture or whatever.
Right.
Like just a good half minute, Jesus. Half hour to an hour show of just kind of like chilling out and like learning something.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like they're made for people who want to travel to Japan.
Yeah.
Want to learn, like use it for
or you're just curious.
A study project.
Yeah.
I would say it's more educational and informative.
Absolutely, yeah, it's definitely educational. It's not. Well, it's entertaining in the sense that it's interesting, and your mileage will vary on that per episode. Because, like I said, like. For me, snow removal process, maybe not like
That's
top
exciting.
tier episode, but like the Family Crest one was really interesting. The pro wrestling one was really interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So do you think that they do that kind of series for like other regions of the world?
Well, it airs in NHK. Like that's the only place it airs. Like all the YouTube stuff has just kind of been, at least as far as I'm aware, I don't believe it's the channel that's up. There is a Japanology channel up on YouTube,
right?
But I'm not sure if it's curated by them.
Yeah,
because it's like totally inactive and like stuff hasn't been uploaded.
It was
for
probably
like 2
just
years.
for that.
Yeah. So I don't think it airs anywhere else.
Oh,
but
it's on YouTube, so
anybody
can watch it.
I checked it out. NHK also I think uploads like one episode per week.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to get it directly from them, you can just go
more
to
current stuff.
I believe it's nhk.jp. I don't remember. You just type in NHK Japanology and it'll bring you there.
Very cool. Very I don't know, informative.
It is informative.
You're boring.
It's calming. It's a calming thing to put on. Take a nap too.
Yeah, that's true. I actually have been, for the longest time. I used to fall asleep to like thunderstorm kind of
like
soft rain
soundscape.
Yeah, and I used to play that through one of my smart home devices.
Yeah, don't say their name.
Yeah, one of them
turn on.
But now I've actually been falling asleep to drone 4K landscape kind of shots. Kind of like the B-roll footage of most films and stuff. I've been doing that for most of like European shots. Like I did Scottish Highlands last night. I was like, oh, this is really cool.
That's really if you got an Apple TV, that's built into it.
Well. I'm sorry.
It's like
I don't suck at the teat of Apple.
I just tell you, it's like their default thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
their screensaver.
It shows up on Google Chromecasts.
Oh, does it?
As a screensaver.
So it's about the same thing then.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
So I've been kind of falling asleep to that stuff. I don't know where I was going with that.
Just calming, I would think.
Oh yeah,
like
calming
napping.
stuff that I would just be like, oh, okay, this is kind of nice. But have you watched anything else?
I did watch. So last week, I also talked about Terrace House.
Yes. Didn't find the first season of that show, by the way.
It's not.
It's got like every other season but the first
well,
season.
So from what I understand, it was going on for a while, and it was just based in Japan. I don't know if it aired on NHK or on a different channel. Then it got canceled, or it ended, and then Netflix revived it.
Yeah.
So the stuff that Netflix has revived, there's, I believe, 3 different kind of seasons,
Yeah.
quote unquote, on Netflix.
But it's kind of like Big Brother, but kind of scripted for the most part.
It's not scripted.
Oh, it's not scripted.
No, it's all unscripted. It is like Big Brother. I don't know if you ever watched Big Brother.
Like when it first started forever ago.
So if you watch it at the beginning, you may recall that there were no like competitions.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like all about, oh, you got to win HOH.
It's like Survivor.
Yeah, you want to make it to the end so you can win some money. Whereas the first season was like, we're just going to throw all these people in here and they're going to live in a house.
Yeah.
And that's all that's going to happen. That's what Terrace House is like.
Right.
Where there's 6 people, 3 guys, 3 girls, and they're all just in a house. They're still going about their normal lives, still have jobs and everything.
But they all live.
Live in one house, and it's kind of like how those dynamics evolve.
Would you ever want to do something like that?
I've thought about it. I've actually thought about going on Big Brother before.
Really?
Yeah, but that was back when I'm gonna go real in here because I used to really watch Big Brother every season, because there was like some interesting gameplay going on where people would like it's all about manipulation, really, to get to the end. But I have not watched it for like 5 years because when it was getting to the end of when I was watching it,
right,
it was becoming more of a popularity contest and less of a game.
Yeah.
So, because people
like
vote.
drama.
People vote at
Yeah.
the end. They have like a jury of people who have made it to like the halfway point, but then gotten kicked out.
Yeah.
And the jury votes on the winner. Well, 9 times out of 10, the jury is all full of bitter people.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there because of one of the 2 people who are at the end.
Who are still, yeah.
And usually the person who put them there is the better game player. So, like, that's who I usually want to win. Like, yeah, they fucking tricked you, dipshits.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of the whole point.
They're
of the thing.
winner, like,
Yeah.
obviously. But because they control the votes, then like people who don't deserve to win end up winning like $1 million, and I'm like, that's not fun. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, this is a topic for off the podcast, but in our entire group of friends, I have had daydreams of us in a situation where it was a Big Brother type scenario.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting to play out in my head. It definitely made the day go by faster.
Nice.
But such a manipulative bitch you are.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, well, it might daydream, but yeah.
You know, that's weird because when Casey talks about me in her dreams, I also seem kind of like an asshole. This is like energy I give off?
It's just an energy, yeah.
I don't like,
it's the...
I don't like that. I don't want to be the asshole.
You're the Richard.
Oh.
And everyone who's listening knows exactly who I'm talking about, because like season 1 or 2 of fucking Survivor, and he was like the biggest douchebag, and he manipulated everybody and won. So,
well, if I win,
wait, did he win or did he burn his penis off? I can't remember.
There's such a wide varying.
It's been on for a long time.
Of people who have burned their peens off at Survivor. There's so many to choose from. But yeah, so
you've been watching that?
Terrace House, Casey and I picked it up.
Nice.
And we are barreling through that.
Oh, really?
They are so... I didn't realize this because in America, usually like reality shows like this are an hour.
Yeah.
These are like 27 minutes.
That's nice. They're digestible. Okay.
And like 10 minutes of that is usually recap.
Oh, okay.
But like...
Weird.
So... It's kind of weird how they station this. It's like you have the goings on in the house with all the people.
Right.
But then outside of that, you have like 6 hosts. And they're all like varying degrees of like famous comedians in Japan and you know, like from or actors, that kind of thing. Idol. I want to there's like a 14-year-old kid on in the first Netflix season.
Yeah.
I think it's like some kind of idol or something. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Everybody's super famous in Japan. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like they're watching the show with you. So when like
they're like reacting to stuff.
Yeah, it'll intercut the house stuff with the reactions and like kind of analysis of these hosts.
It's kind of weird.
It is weird, but it's probably like the funniest part of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know in the UK they actually have a show of like just people watching the news.
Oh, really?
Like it's the camera pointing at people, like a family on a couch, and they're reacting to news and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't like this politician," or something like that. And it's just a super popular show. I can't give you the name of it, but
well, Big Brother started in the UK.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I thought it was like a U.S. original show.
No,
it's not. Nothing in the United States is original. Sorry, spoiler. But that's the funniest part of the show. Generally it is. And like the people in the house are more of like the drama aspect. Like, but like the drama in this is so not American drama. It's
right?
a different
It's
culture.
like you watch Big Brother or Survivor or some shit and people are like throwing tantrums and like literally chucking shit across the room or tent or whatever. Whereas like one of the biggest fallouts of this first season is, and it's early too. One of the guys is it's not really a spoiler.
Oh, okay.
One of the guys is having a birthday, and he is like the oldest one there. So, like everybody else,
like 80.
No, not that old. Everybody else is like 21 to 23, kind of, and he's like 28.
Odd choice.
And he is very much like the adult of the house, so he is like always, you need to have your dream fully realized, and I think we'd be closer if we talked about what drives us and that kind of thing. So he wants everyone to go around the table and tell like everybody else what their goal in life is, essentially. And one of the women is like, well, I want to do this, and I don't really have like a concrete roadmap on it, but like I'm really excited about this, and this is what I think I would be passionate about down the line.
Nobody at 21 has a life plan.
And she's 23, so I don't know if that had something to do.
23.
I don't know if that had something to do with his reaction, but regardless, he like went in and said like, yeah, I'm just not getting anything from you when you're talking about your dream. Like your dream is really unclear, and the fucking house devolves into tears, man.
Like everyone just starts crying.
Not everyone, but the girl he's talking to and another girl are like, because like that's a harsh fucking thing to say. Like your dream that you're like, I asked you to tell me about your dream, and now that you're telling me about your dream, like I'm not feeling any passion out of it. Like fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, okay. Well, thank you.
But like it's all muted too. It's not like no one says like, how can you say that to me?
Nobody gets like super angry and starts throwing shit like an American.
Yeah.
Would. Throw one American 21 to 23-year-old in there.
Well, and from what I've heard, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but I think in one of the later seasons they do have an American come in.
Okay.
But it is good. It's one of those shows that it's like I can't stop.
Yeah.
It's addicting.
Well, I mean, it's that or The Bachelorette.
And fuck, is there a heel turn in the first season?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, there's like a guy on there who you think like, oh yeah, this guy's like really
He's
chill.
a cool guy.
Okay. And then out of nowhere, he not so much.
Oh. Starts stabbing people or?
No, not that bad. It's again, Japanese, so it's like I talked about this when I shouldn't have.
Oh no. Some real backstabbing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
You get a good insight into like the cultural values in terms of like personal interaction.
Okay. Well, it's definitely kind of opens up people's eyes about a different culture and how they view both drama and interactions with each other.
And even with just stuff like the camera movement, like in American television, you'll notice like lots really fast cuts and zooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in this, everything's like very stationary and like it'll hold a shot on someone's face and wait for the reaction, as opposed to like in Big Brother they used to do, they probably still do, I'm assuming, where someone would like be talking to another person, and one of them would say like, well, I just don't know how I feel about that, and then the score would kick in with like a boom.
Yeah.
There's none of that here.
Okay.
So
is there still like music?
There is still music, but it will usually like start at the beginning of an interaction,
right?
And then just kind of like trace through it. There's not like a whole lot of just like, buh. It sounds like that,
Okay.
you know. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like there's actual songs
Yeah.
to accompany
Like
stuff.
a score.
Yeah, as opposed to like horror sounds.
Yeah. Like if you watch
I don't
any
know if that makes
Gordon
sense.
Ramsay show.
Yeah,
or any-
exactly.
Yeah.
And in
Competition
fact,
show.
if you compare something like the American Kitchen Nightmares to the British Kitchen Nightmares,
Yeah.
that's a completely different show.
I highly recommend people that look that up on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's quite astounding.
The British Kitchen Nightmares is something that Casey and I we would take naps to because
Yeah.
that's so like soothing, and Gordon Ramsay is actually like supportive of the people he goes and sees.
Well, he just hates
like
Americans.
I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily that. It's just as Americans, typically our television is catered towards drama.
Right.
We need there to be drama to latch onto something, or so.
Because God forbid if we don't, there's not 100,000 other shows we'll be watching.
Yeah. Producers believe that that's the way that people are going to watch their show, and I guess just forget about it the next time something else comes on.
Well, yeah, because they want to be able to disconnect from their boring, dull lives.
Yeah.
Let that settle for a second.
Yeah, we'll let that sit like Terrace House would.
I watched The Dark Crystal.
Yes.
We're 30 minutes in.
That's fine. I was done with mine. Anyway.
Yeah. We could be talking about Terrace House for.
We could. I could actually talk
son
about
of a
Terrace
bitch.
House.
We're not. I watched The Dark Crystal. I watched the movie, 1982.
I've never seen the movie. How is it?
So listen, 1980s. Jim Henson,
Jim Henson. Yep.
creator of the Muppets. He wanted to do kind of his own thing that wasn't the Muppets. That was kind of like just an original story.
Yeah, this was kind of one of his like dream projects.
Yeah,
almost.
for the longest time.
He sunk a lot of himself into it.
He directed it along with Frank Oz, puppeteer, very famous puppeteer. Yoda, obviously. He's Yoda. And you could definitely feel the passion because there's a lot of world building, even in just the hour and a half of the film. There's lots of creatures. The world's, damn it. The first 5-6 minutes of it is a narrator like, hey, this is the history of the world.
This is the land.
Yeah. These are the good guys. These are the bad guys. This is, who's left. And all right, let's set it up. The whole like title card sequence is like a slow pan around. And when I was texting you, I kind of was live texting you for the first couple minutes. And I was like, he's probably getting sick of this.
Nah.
But when I first started it, I was like, oh my God, this looks fantastic. Like, it looks like it's the remaster of it. As far as I could tell, there was no film grain.
Oh, wow.
And maybe that's just because I had a good internet connection with Netflix. But I was like, this is like 4K kind of quality. It looks sharp as hell.
Do you have a 4K television?
I do. That's a 4K TV. Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I mean, it would still come across as, wow, this visually looks good. But, like, later scenes, you'd be like, okay, I kind of see.
You can see the date on it.
But it still looks fantastic.
Looks like a 90s or a 2000s Japanese show.
Yeah. It looks quite dated, but also quite current.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastical movie set in a world, the world of Thra, which sounds like someone got, like, karate chopped in the throat.
Welcome to the world of.
So, they don't actually mention that in the film, I don't think.
Still laughing at the karate chop.
What?
I'm mentally picturing it over.
Yeah,
and over
somebody walking up to
Kick-off.
Jim Henson, and he's like, "Hi, welcome to the." So we want to set this movie in the world of Thra. Damn it, Frank Oz!
Why would you do that? I hired you.
I'm co-directing this with you. But it's fantastical world, very high fantasy. You've got the Gelflings, which are just elves.
Yeah.
2 feet tall elves.
You've got with like they're like the main characters.
They're
right?
the main character is a Gelfling. I don't want to spoil anything for a 40-year-old movie, 30-year-old movie. 1982.
I don't know.
30-year-old movie ish, 35, whatever. Math. What are you doing?
I'm looking it up.
Oh, okay. Main character is a Gelfling. He's the last of his clan. And then there are the Mystics, which are hermits that know a lot of stuff, and they're hidden away.
Are those like the kind of like Sebulba looking guys.
Yes.
With the noses.
Yes. They look like I wanted to write it down what they look like. They look like Pokemon kind of in a way.
Is there a particular one you were trying to think of?
No, no. I'm gonna chop all this bit out.
1982.
1982. Okay,
Yeah.
so it was right. That was a good year for
Yeah.
movies. I'll say that time and time again. But there's the mystics, which are these kind of hermits that know everything, are trying to hide away from the Skeksis, which are the bad guys. They're kind of old crow bird looking hunchback guys. They're probably more synonymous with the Dark Crystal than the mystics are.
I think that was actually what I was thinking of when I said Sebulba.
Sebulba? Okay.
Yeah, not the hermits.
Oh, okay. Well, the Skeksis. I'm not trying to say sexy.
The
Skeksis.
sexies. Oh god, the sexies are coming from us.
Yeah. But they're very gross, like disgusting, very evil, obviously, characters that are keepers of the Crystal of Truth, which is this crystal that is kind of the life embodiment of the worlds that they live on. But it also gives them power, and there's also kind of a twist at the end of the movie. Great hour and a half movie.
Nice.
I thought it was kind of like, it was very brisk.
Yeah.
There's some...
Didn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, there's amazing puppet design in this.
Yeah, it's all practical, right?
Oh, yeah. All of this is practical. With little CGI bits of, like, 1980s
right.
electricity
Oh,
and stuff
there's
like
a crystal that's being formed.
It's also, I should say, it's very dark.
Well,
it's a dark...
It is in the name.
Yes.
That crystal is dark.
But just in case you're confusing it with Labyrinth, this is the one where people get their life sucked out of them, and they turn into mummies and stuff. And
nice.
The reason I bring up the fact that I watched The Dark Crystal is because the new Netflix series, The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance...
Yeah, that just dropped. That's a prequel, right?
It's a prequel. I don't know how much before it is. I want to say quite a bit of time because I haven't finished it yet.
Oh,
but
you started it?
I started it. I'm 4 episodes into the 10 episodes.
Oh, wow.
And it's amazing.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it when that happens, when you go back. They go back to something after so much time, and the follow-up or whatever else they do after that first time is better or it's just as good.
Yeah, and it's a cult film, so you have the fan base already, but then you can also introduce this world into a whole bunch of new fans. And I feel like if I didn't watch the movie, I could still watch the show.
Oh, really?
And enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because there's a lot of characters that well, I mean, having watched the movie before it, I know, oh no, this is what's going to happen to him. Yeah. But that's what you get from getting the context from the movie.
Right.
But the puppetry is still there. They're still using live puppets as much as they can. There's some CGI elements in there when they have to use like lifelike movement when they're climbing a wall or whatever. They use in the original film, you could very obviously tell it's a child with the mask of one of the characters.
Yeah.
But in this, it's more CGI.
Gotcha.
But the CGI actually blends in very well with the environment.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm
the
sure
story,
they took the time to do that.
Yeah. And there's just a lot of love and effort put into this. You have the original puppeteers back for this, the ones that are alive. And you also have it's basically the same exact team from the original film.
Good.
And you have the son of Jim Henson. No, I'm sorry, daughter. Can you look that up for me?
I will.
The progeny of Jim Henson supervising it and kind of making sure that it stays true to the original material. Because, like you said, it was a passion project for Jim Henson.
Right. Yeah, and actually, he was, it's daughter.
Thank you.
On the series. Jim Henson was actually, like, devastated after the Dark Crystal, like, it failed in the box office. And he was, like, I read a little bit on it. It was like, a pretty big injury to him.
You put a lot of love into this one project. It's like anytime somebody writes a book and they just put it out there, self-publish, and then everybody hates it.
And especially, as you said, you put so much of yourself into it, and you believe in it, and you're like, people are going to love this. And I don't necessarily think people hated it. They just didn't go to see it. It made no money. Critically, I don't know. I don't think it did that well at the start, but now it's become sort of like a cult classic.
Can I want to give you the cast list for the Netflix series. Yeah. Because
I seem to remember this being pretty loaded when they first announced it.
There is so many people in this Netflix series that I wouldn't expect. This has so many Game of Thrones actors in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's directed by Louis Leterrier, who did Clash of the Titans. He's done a whole bunch of stuff, good and bad. But so far, from what I've watched, he's directed each one, and they've all been great.
Nice.
So you've got Taron Egerton.
Oh, wow.
So you've got Eggsy, who is one of the main characters. You have Anya Taylor-Joy.
Who's that?
She was in The Witch.
Oh, like the girl, the main girl?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what else she's been in. But she was great in that. I love that movie.
She was in Split, Glass.
Oh, right. Yeah, she was in Split.
Yeah, she was the
main
love
girl.
interest. You've got Natalie Emmanuel, who is the handmaiden to...
If you're going to talk about Handmaid's Tale, I can't.
No. I don't want to talk about Handmaid's Tale. No, she was the one who. Spoiler: if you haven't finished Game of Thrones, her neck got cut open by Cersei.
Oh yeah. No wait, by Cersei.
The one from Essos that got her neck cut open in front of Daenerys.
Missandei.
Missandei.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's her. And she actually plays my favorite character in the show. Jason Isaacs, Mark Hamill.
Hey,
yeah.
I know him.
He as soon as his character starts talking, you're like, that's Mark Hamill, because it's Joker. It's the same voice, but you still like it. Keegan-Michael Key.
Oh wow.
Simon Pegg.
Keegan-Michael Key is doing some rounds lately.
I know. Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about Predator.
Predator. Oh yeah, he was in that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's not good. Alicia Vikander, who plays a very small role, and I don't like that. Andy Samberg, Helena Bonham Carter, and hold on, you've got Awkwafina, you've got Eddie Izzard.
Some of these names feel like I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, and then others are like, huh. I wouldn't have expected that.
Well, like Awkwafina, you're like, what is she doing?
There was a couple names before that. Oh, Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
It was like, interesting.
I have not met his character yet, and I'm 4 episodes in. As far as I know, because like either he is doing a very different voice to his normal one, or I haven't met his character yet. You got Toby Jones. You got Hannah John Kamen, who was the Spectre Ghost character in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, yeah.
Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And The Forest.
Mark Strong. You got Theo James. Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah,
Bill
it's
Hader.
Just a little name, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. Did you hear Bill Hader?
I did, yeah.
Like, it's just
Damn,
so many...
that's stacked. That's a stacked
That's
list.
a lot of like famous people who... Yeah. I mean, granted, they're doing... spoiler alert.
It's voice work.
It's voice work. But, like, still, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And 99% of them aren't doing their own voice.
That's not to say that voice work is easy.
No.
You just don't have to be on set as much.
Right. Usually... So it's a time commitment that you can fit with your schedule a lot easier. But, because there's not, like, makeup or, like...
Because I sure as fuck can do voice work.
Like, you what?
I don't think I could do voice work.
Oh, you don't? You don't think you could do a different voice from your own?
I could try. I don't think I would be good at it.
Give me the best.
What do you want?
Give me your Harrison Ford impression.
Oh no. Never tell me the odds.
No.
See, I feel like I just sound like me.
Well, I was gonna say no anyway. No, have you never been complimented on like an impression that you've done?
I feel like there's some. But I can't remember. You would have to ask Casey.
Okay.
Anytime I do an impression or some kind of voice,
something tells me she wouldn't be very supportive.
Nine times out of 10, it's for her. She hates it too.
Weird.
She's like,
okay.
No, you're taking it. You're taking it. No. You're taking it to a weird place. I'm saying like I annoy her around the house because I joke around too much.
Oh, okay. All right. Well. let me just wrap it up by saying Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, even if you're not a previous Dark Crystal fan, but you like kind of fantasy set shows, the production design is there. The voice acting is fantastic. There, again, this gets darker than the original movie, which I thought was like, oh, characters are dying, they're getting sucked dry, there's violence. Not like that. Don't.
Well, what? You could do those jokes and I can't?
No! I'm supposed to be the whimsical one.
You perv.
But, like, you're getting characters that are, like, exploding into dust and stuff.
Oh.
And you're like, oh, shit.
Sounds
people
like a
are getting
good
stabbed
time.
in the back. People's limbs are falling off. Stuff like that. It's not super violent.
Normal Saturday.
Yeah. It's not super violent. Again, these are all puppets and some animatronics and stuff. But it's still...
Is there, like, blood?
No.
No.
There's, like, some, like, bodily fluids. And by that, I mean, like, pus and stuff from, decomposing characters.
I feel like that's worse.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I highly recommend it. Again, I haven't finished it, but I plan on... They're each, like, an hour long.
Yeah, I need to go and do what you did and go back and finally watch the movie.
Yeah.
And then, even though I know you say that you don't need to watch
the movie's slow a little bit.
Well, it's an hour.
But an hour and a half, yeah.
It's not that bad. I know you say you don't necessarily need to watch the movie, but
it'd be better with context.
I'm one of those people who needs all the context.
Yeah. I like when you were coming in, I was playing Borderlands 2, and I was getting excited for Borderlands 3, even though I know you don't really need to play the other Borderlands for it. I just want to kind of, I like the quote-unquote context because I know they're going to reference previous events.
They'll be, what if I don't get that one line?
Yeah. So it's all about context,
So you want to dive into our
main topic?
Our topic?
Yes. Give me what little work that you put in.
I'll let you go first.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You said you initially watched the movie that didn't count.
Yes.
And then you watched something else.
I still kind of want to talk about it because I thought, it didn't get great reviews.
And what was it called again?
It was called The Dirt.
And it's
a biopic of Motley Crue.
Right,
so you got Vince Neil, you got Mike Mars, you've got Nikki Sixx, and you've got Tommy Lee. And it's basically...
The infamous Tommy Lee.
Oh, yeah. Well, the infamous, all four of them, because they've all... I mean, Vince Neil killed a guy.
Yeah.
Vehicular manslaughter, but they were drunk driving, stuff like that. They go into that. So this movie, like a lot of other musical biopics, try to covers the consequences of fame.
Hey, what up, fam?
Hey, what, fam? Consequences.
Consequence. That's why you don't use the word fam.
I know, I hate it. Fame, and basically when you get four dude bros of, if you want to use a more modern kind of thing, if they became super famous and were rock stars and they lived the rock star life.
Right.
So you have four quote unquote, I can't talk today.
It's all right,
man. Quote unquote narrators, and they're all kind of like talking to the camera like it's like a documentary kind of thing. But it's not. It's all meant for dramatic effect. But they're all talking to the camera, and they're all talking about how certain events are not being portrayed. Like, they introduce one of their managers, and his manager had a friend who also helped him out. But then they're like, but he's not going to be in this movie. So they fade out the friend. And I was like, that's pretty funny, actually. But the manager goes on later to say, I've managed, Scorpion, I've managed Skid Row, and like all these other
You said Scorpion, and I'm just picturing Mortal Kombat Scorpion. Like, all right,
get over here.
You got to fight with Sub-Zero this weekend. Just keep it clean.
I mean, do you listen to a lot of 80s music?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But that was the first thing. For whatever reason, that's
because you're a nerd.
Pops into my
Total
head.
dork. Geek. But he's like, I've managed all these bands, and none of them are as crazy as Motley Crue. And they kind of go into the origins, how they all kind of meet each other.
Right.
I guarantee you, like, I'm not a super huge, know-it-all about Motley Crue's history.
Yeah, I sure as hell am not.
Which is why I kind of wanted to watch it, learn a little bit about it. But I guarantee you that a lot of the details are on like how they meet
Mm-hmm.
and certain events are very Bohemian Rhapsody-esque when it comes
like
to
some liberties are taken.
Yeah, a lot of liberties are taken. Obviously, they're accurate with the characters, but I feel like the certain events that get them there. But I feel like it can kind of be explained away because a lot of it was happening while they were like high on cocaine, heroin, all the stuff. There's a scene where they meet Ozzy Osbourne with probably the best impersonation of Ozzy Osbourne I've seen.
Who plays him?
I couldn't
But
tell you.
It's no one.
It's
like,
no one.
okay.
It's like a No offense to the actor,
No.
but it's just the one scene that he's in. They meet him at a hotel like while they're on tour, and he's like, "Hey, what's up? By the way, don't be on tour for too long, or you're gonna go fucking crazy." And then he snorts a line of ants,
Oh, yeah.
and then he pees on the side of the on the walkway by the pool, and then he drinks his pee, or sorry, licks it up, and then I believe it was Tommy Lee's character, Tommy Lee, pisses on the ground to kind of impress him, and then he tries to drink it, but then Ozzy Osbourne is like, "No, I'm going to drink your pee." So he laps that up too, and then it kind of cuts away to the next scene to show how crazy it is to be on tour like Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
He also bit the head off a bat. All right.
Yeah.
Just
I don't
dismiss
know. I don't know how, but
it. We got to move on.
Some reason I rank the bat not as crazy,
Not as weird as snorting a line of ants or licking up your pee.
up someone else's pee off the street. You know,
Yeah.
whatever you do in your own bedroom is.
Yeah. Are you judging me? No. Don't kink shame, folks. But
Unless you're Quentin Tarantino, then I'll kink shame you all day.
yeah, it's very weird. Your
I
feet
have
stuff.
to. I have to work. I have to look at 40 minutes of foot stuff.
Yeah.
Pressed up against glass.
Like just smushed up again. We talked about
it's
it
all
in an earlier
dirty.
episode.
Why is it so
Earlier
dirty?
episode. But then they go into like a lot of the darker stuff. Like obviously you have Vince Neil's daughter dying at the age of 4 from cancer. You have Nikki Sixx's addiction to heroin, I believe. And then just kind of they're arguing and stuff, and then Vince Neil leaves the band for a little bit, and then he comes back and is like, "Hey, we're Motley Crue," and then it's all kind of the last 30 minutes are kind of just quickly like
Wrap it up.
we wrap it up like this is all the stuff that happens, kind of not current day, but like early 90s.
When
to
did this
late
come
90s.
out?
This came out last year.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't realize it was that.
it was a Netflix original film
I didn't
based
realize
off
that
of the
either.
autobiography of Motley Crue, and all 4 of the members still alive.
Yes, yeah.
Cool. Are also producers on the film, so they had say so when it comes to certain events and stuff.
Yeah, 2019.
Oh, this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you're a fan of the music, they play a lot of their songs in there, and it's got some funny dialogue in there, but it also
Oh, you didn't say Ewan Rayon was in this.
Ewan Raymond. Yeah. He plays what in Game of Thrones? Ramsay Snow.
Ramsay.
Yeah, Ramsay Bolton.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Mike Mars. And
Pete Davidson.
Yeah, Pete Davidson plays Pete Davidson in this movie, and I hate it. He's really annoying. Machine Gun Kelly plays Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
And he's not bad. Yeah.
Oh, Anthony Cavallero. He's a comedian, isn't he?
Who was that?
Anthony
Caballero.
Caballero. He was who played Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, he was. Oh, I know why I recognize this name.
Why?
He was on an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Oh, really?
Yeah. As,
Okay.
like a celebrity guest. He did like a Nickelodeon show or something.
He looked very familiar when I saw him, but I was like, he looks and sounds exactly like Ozzy Osbourne.
He did the Nickelodeon TV show for School of Rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, he's done previous stuff. Again, sorry, I didn't recognize him.
Well,
before,
you wouldn't have unless you either watched the Nickelodeon School of Rock or Whose Line.
I might. I dabble. All right. There's a lot of TV that I watch. I don't say every single one that I watch every week.
Well,
I don't talk about Terrace House for 30 minutes. I'm just kidding. I'm just busting your balls. So I watched The Dirt, and then I was like, okay, I need to watch another biography because that was a musical one. As soon as the credits rolled, I was like, shit. So I watched Battle of the Sexes.
the Steve Carell,
Emma Stone.
Yeah, the tennis one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the tennis, very famous match between Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. Yes. I
I'll trust you.
Thank you. Woo. That's what it's all about, trust.
Especially if you have a blindfold on.
But the thing is...
And a gag in.
Son of a bitch. The thing is, they go very much into...
Is it like rewritten history? Or?
It's not rewritten. It's very biographical. Like when I was looking up a lot of the details, it's very on par.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes into the relationships of Billie Jean King and her becoming who she is, and because she later came out as gay. But it goes like a good third of the movie. The big middle chunk of the movie is about her trying to deal with coming out and telling her husband or hiding it from her husband. And they don't go really into Bobby Riggs all that much because he's kind of the villain of the movie.
Right.
He's the male chauvinist pig. Yeah. He played that persona. And later on in life, they would go on to become friends, Billie Jean King and him. But they don't go into detail about the tennis and all that much. And I get that. It's a biographical drama.
Right. It's it's kind of something that's usually inherent with the genre, where it's like if you just talked about the incident, then it would be a documentary. Whereas to get the drama stuff, you need to inject the personal.
Yeah, and I just... Maybe it was just a story that I wasn't fully 100% invested in.
Yeah.
I used to love playing tennis. I know of the match of Battle of the Sexes. I was just like, okay, and I like the actors involved.
Right.
Why not?
Was everyone good in it?
Yeah. I thought Emma Stone did fantastic. I thought she looked exactly like the character. I thought that she portrayed the character well.
Good.
A feminist icon. And I thought Steve Carell was Steve Carell. I feel like not knowing Bobby Riggs all that much, he played a very evil character, I guess, just the way that the script intended. But I thought the acting was great all around, except for I can't remember the character or the actor's name.
Well, that'll make looking it up very difficult.
I got nominated for Golden Globes.
Yeah, I do. I remember getting
Best Actress, Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Shit. There was 2 directors. You have Valerie Faris and Jonathan Dayton, and I don't know who either of those are. But it's just great that they kind of, for a movie that's called Battle of the Sexes, they have a woman and a man. So I just thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's probably all getting cut. Is it Bob? Oh, sorry. Oh.
Well, I moved my foot, but sure, I apologize.
Andrea Riseborough.
Andrea Riseborough.
She was in Oblivion and Mandy and Birdman.
Oh, I've seen one of those.
Yeah. I thought she didn't do that well.
Oh,
but she was the love interest.
In Birdman, was she the daughter?
No, that's Emma Stone.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, it's been forever since I've seen Birdman.
But they're both in that movie, which is something. So it was okay. It was actually going to be The Aviator, which I've seen before.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah. It's a great movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Scorsese fan, but I wanted to watch something I had never seen before.
Sure, yeah.
I was kind of interested in that, and The Aviator is almost 3 hours long, so.
It is a long movie. Oh, by the way, the other day I said, or maybe not the other day, I think it might have been the last time we talked about biopics. I mentioned Eraserhead being one, and you were like, what? I have never heard that.
Yeah.
Like, that's strange.
Yeah.
And I realized later, I didn't mean Eraserhead. I meant Ed Wood.
Yeah.
With Johnny Depp.
Both black and white films, both totally
very
different.
Movies. Very different.
Yes.
That's where that went wrong.
Yeah.
I got the E right, but it all devolved from there.
E and a D. That's Johnny Depp. Wait a second. But yeah, I would recommend it for somebody who's interested in the subject matter.
Yeah.
Who's trying to get kind of a dramatic retelling of Billie Jean King's story. But it was just kind of a meh film for me.
Okay. Like
very Oscar bait.
Not bad, but not great.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of meh generic Oscar bait films, but got nominated.
Yeah. Good job.
Everyone did a good job. So, what did you watch?
So with keeping in line with my theme this week, I watched an anime.
You just stayed over in the Far East.
I did, and I like I said, once I get in a hole, it's very hard for me to climb out of it.
Gross.
I watched The Wind Rises.
Oh, okay.
From Hayao Miyazaki,
Studio Ghibli.
It's not technically not all of it is true. Like they take some liberties with it, but it's the story of Jiro Horikoshi. I think I'm saying
sure
that.
that's
Jiro
absolutely correct.
Horikoshi. He designed the planes that were used in World War II for Japan. And it's about his life and kind of how he got into aerospace engineering. I don't know if that's what
sounds very boring. What makes it?
Have you seen it?
Exciting.
Have you seen it?
I haven't. No.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the Ghibli films where it's more like grounded.
So this was Miyazaki's final directorial movie,
right
before he retired, and now he's kind of come out of retirement. He's supposed to have another one coming out in 2020 or 2021.
Oh, cool.
I don't remember what the name is.
But look it up.
Yeah, please do.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But this was kind of like his swan song, and it's kind of like almost similar in the vein of how Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for Quentin Tarantino is kind of like this introspective look on his filmmaking and kind of what drives him. That's pretty similar for Miyazaki, I feel like, in this, and that it explores like what drives a person to choose what they want to do in life, and like how they're truly driven don't like they'll face resistance over and over and over again, but it's that drive to succeed that keeps them moving. And it's somber in that even with this person achieving what they set out to do, the reality of just how the world is with like consumerism and like technological advancements for war and that kind of thing kind of destroys the beauty of that drive, I guess would be a way to put it.
Yeah.
What are you finding over there?
I was looking up his next film. It's called How Do You Live?
Yeah.
Which is based off of 1937 book of the same name, written by Genzaburo Yoshino. The film is anticipated release date is before the 2020 Summer Olympics, although the date is not definite. It centers around a particular book and titled How Do You Live? Oh, it's kind of meta. But anyway, that's all.
Well, that's I don't know if it's exactly like this one, but yeah, this one does feel like there's that
he puts himself in the character kind of.
Yeah, where you can kind of see what he's getting at with having this. And initially, I read up on it. He did a manga for this that was published.
Oh, I do remember.
And it was based off a book.
Yeah.
And he was approached for his last movie to be an adaptation of that manga. Mm-hmm. And at first he was against it because he's like, well, normally Studio Ghibli films are for kids, and like this really isn't a subject matter that kids would be interested in.
Right.
But then they came back at him with, like, you shouldn't shy away from making things that aren't typically meant for kids just because, like, you should give them...
kind of holding them back.
Yeah, you should give them the opportunity to explore things that wouldn't typically be meant for them in venues that are more accessible.
Right.
So that's what kind of convinced him to do it.
Well, and it's like a lot of his works that he released in the late 80s were meant for kids, and now those kids are adults.
Right,
so the films he should be making should be adaptable for anyone.
Well, but there's like you can see it within the first 10 minutes of this movie. This is a movie that is very much not Ponyo,
Yeah.
Like Ponyo is like a quintessential kids movie.
Very Disney.
Yeah. Whereas this is a drama. There's no two ways about it. It's an adult drama in which the stakes are not good versus evil. It's like reality versus desire. Like it's something like that.
Okay. It's very personal.
Yes, yeah, and it's I think I said before, it's introspective.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. It ends on a pretty somber note.
Well, he's designing war machines
Right.
for World War.
And
Would you say Grave of the Fireflies is kind of a companion piece to this?
No.
No?
No.
In no way?
Grave of the Fire. It's like.
I'd say that's the result of his work.
Yeah. I guess you could go about it that way, but like Grave of the Fireflies is like I guess as you said, the fallout
Mm-hmm.
for characters that are removed from the
War effort.
or like the reasons for this happening to them are not their fault. Whereas like the area in The Wind Rises, the Jiro, the main character, the places he finds himself are because of his drive. Like they're because of what he wants to do.
Okay.
Where his wants take him they aren't places where he necessarily wants to end up, but he is, I don't want to say consumed by his want and his dreams, because that makes it sound like he's kind of negative, like he's a negative person.
Right.
It's just like he knows what he wants, and unfortunately he lives in a time where the world is set on using what he wants to do for not great things.
Right. To put it mildly.
Yeah. So that's kind of the struggle of the film.
Right. Well, that's
and like I said, like this destruction of inner beauty and dreams.
And that's a lot of Hayao Miyazaki's films. It's always about. At first, it was a lot about nature and what we're doing and how it's affecting nature.
This is still pastoral too, so you still kind of get some of that.
It's very. Think about the worlds that humans or human-like characters live in and how they affect it.
Yeah.
It's always about think about the planet that you're living on and what you're doing to it.
Right, and it's almost ends on kind of like it doesn't matter what you do.
Very nihilistic.
Yeah, I would like it is hopeful in a sense of like there's something to look forward to, and if you accomplish your dream, you can at least live with the satisfaction that you did that. You had something in mind that you strived for and you succeeded. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the end of like strife or like hardship,
right.
You know, like you still have to deal with that.
And knowing that this is set in the past, and the end result of that war, granted, for Japan as a country and on the whole, I mean that the world overall became a better place after the end result of World War II. Granted, there were a lot of lives lost, but the fact that this one man's dream generally affected a lot of people outside of his world, you know, it's just kind of amazing to think. And even just watching this movie, you're kind of thinking, oh, everything that he's doing, whether it be his dreams and his wants and desires, and whether he goes through with it, it's no matter what, it's going to affect everybody that he knows.
And there is this constant like almost dread where, and it's like fighting against your want to see this person succeed, to see Jiro succeed, because you know what he's trying to do is deeply personal for him.
Right.
You know, he's had this want to make aircraft since he was a young child, and he's put everything he has, and he's a very good person. I don't know how true this is to real life.
Yeah.
Jiro in real life. But in the film, he is a very like selfless person, and he puts others ahead of himself and strives to do the best that he can. But with that, where you're cheering on this good person, you do realize the implications of him succeeding.
Right.
And there's nothing like, you don't see like bombs dropped on Nagasaki or anything like that. He's not like standing in a field of like dead bodies as the bombs drop, and he's like, what have I done?
Yeah, it's not. It's not. That seems almost obvious.
Yeah,
like
you
obvious.
do get something along those lines, but it's not like there's a lot of like dreamscape stuff that happens in here.
Yeah.
and there's a whole thing with his eventual wife, which, from what I understand, the bits in the Wind Rises with Jiro's wife that's not taken from Jiro's actual life. That's taken from the author's life of the original book.
Oh, okay.
So like that's kind of where it's like a fictional biopic, or like a fictionalized biopic.
The parts that I complained about in Battle of the Sexes kind of
along the same lines where they interject some things,
some kind of dramatic tension.
Okay. But it works. It's definitely like an odd Miyazaki film because it's not like Totoro or anything, and it's not even like Castle in the Sky, where it's kind of bridging that line between really young kid and then kid. This is very much an adult movie that kids may like. I don't know. It's kind of long too. It's like 2 hours.
I mean, yeah. Miyazaki films tend to be a little bit longer. Like Nausicaa was longer than that.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But there's like no action in this, Yeah,
like it's a dialogue driven.
Yeah. It's very much dialogue and character driven. Okay. So your mileage will vary. I really enjoyed it, but I can see how it could be a little slow at times for certain people because it's very much, as you said, character and dialogue driven, and
very serious.
Introspective.
Yeah. And you don't have giant cat buses or flames with the voice of Billy Crystal. Thank you. I was gonna say Billy Eichner. I was like, no, wait,
that's not right.
It's Timon. On that note, let's you son. Yeah, I want to do something happy. Like,
sorry,
watch happy things. He makes other great.
He does.
Happy films that you can watch.
Well, and like, I don't want to make it sound like the movie is like downright depressing.
No,
but it's a mature thematic movie,
and it covers history.
Yeah, so you take the good with the bad,
right? Life is good and bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what would you recommend people watch? This is a required watch.
Now I just have the facts of life on my mind.
Facts of life.
Take the good, you take the bad. Take them all, and there you have.
Required watch.
You're so put out.
It's the headache I have. It's the congestion. I know I'm gonna have to finish Dark Crystal, and the more I think about it,
to.
I do. I'm committed. I'm like 4 episodes in.
You have a whole week, right?
I know. I have.
And you have
tonight, tomorrow, and we have Labor Day off because we're recording Saturday, Labor Day weekend. And then we got to hang out this weekend because we said we would.
We did.
We'll talk about that after. But what would you require?
I'm gonna give our audience an option.
Good.
I will say that they are required to watch either an episode of 2 Japanology so they can get educated.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Or go the opposite route and go with Terrace House.
Oh, come on. Well, I guess I'll
you should watch Terrace House. It's really good. It's fun.
If you like drama.
It's dumb fun. If you like specific drama.
Yeah.
Not bowl throwing across the kitchen drama.
Yeah, if you're sick of the exciting, action-packed kitchens of kitchen nightmares. Master Chef.
If the drama of your dream is unclear sounds appealing to you, then you should watch Terrace House.
Oh, boo. Well, I guess I'll stick with the theme. I was hoping you were going to recommend something that wasn't Japan-related.
Nope.
So I didn't mention it, but I figured I could stick it into the required watch slot. Carol and Tuesday.
Stick it in.
Stick it in. Holes. Japan.
What Carol and Tuesday?
Carol and Tuesday. It's an anime that just premiered yesterday. The animation, actually, I want to look this up because I want to be right about this.
Please do. Is this on Crunchyroll or Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's part 1.
Are all the episodes up, or because Netflix doesn't simulcast?
No, it's all up.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Part 1 is all up. It's a music anime, so it's a lot like Your Lie in April. It's very drama related. So the director of Carol and Tuesday directed Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy,
Bebop, that's good.
Yeah, it's Studio Bones, who makes a lot of very beautiful
Yeah.
anime. So that's what I recommend for a good, happy Japanese anime.
Terrace House is
Watch it.
happy.
It's not anime, is what I'm.
It's pretty much anime.
Wind Rises. Yeah, well, I mean, if you didn't listen to last week, like that's all I watched was
Asian
live
drama.
action Asian romantic dramas, and I'm still watching Meteor Garden, and yeah, it is still anime because that's the whole culture of Japan is everyone's growing up on anime. All right, and so life imitates art, all that kind of stuff. But this one's great. I'm gonna keep watching. Got a lot of Netflix to watch.
Yeah,
so keep him busy.
Got to prep for that Disney Plus launch.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Everything that they're mentioning, I'm interested in.
Who's ready to watch 30 seasons of The Simpsons in one go?
I'm not doing it. No, I'm done with this.
I might do it.
Ah.
I've actually been trying to find like a good place to stream The Simpsons for a long time.
Wasn't it on Hulu for the longest time?
They have clips.
Not whole episodes? I could have sworn they had episodes.
No.
Oh. Well, this has been Nicknames Movies with the Cinema Love Never Stops. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, and become a patron by going to patreon.com/nicknamesmovies. Thank you for finger
I just
guns.
finger banged them.
Yeah. Whoa. But yeah, we're on episode 18. We mentioned it last week. Again, we're doing Nicknames Movies, but for only a couple more episodes, we're actually transitioning into a new podcast format where, again, you don't have to change anything in how you consume our content. We're basically just changing the name and the format.
Yep. Same places, all that stuff. You have to do nothing.
Yes.
It's all on us.
It's going to be hella fun, as the kids say.
Yes. Like Gwen Stefani.
Yep. She's not a kid.
Or, wait.
Because
Pink.
I'm just a girl.
No, I'm thinking of Pink.
Oh.
It's hella good, so I just kept on dancing.
Perfect. You're the next Pink.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pink.
It's not saying much. We'll see you next time, guys. More info on what we're doing in the next 2 episodes coming up. We only have... This is episode 18. We got 19, 20...
And then the rollout.
Rollout, soft launch.
Like Transformers. Or Autobots, specifically.
Autobots!
Do something else.
Do something else. Do a different podcast. That's what we're doing. So, well, stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.